Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Fish Simple. So in today's video we're still trying to build this fish room. We haven't got very far. I'm still in the middle of doing all my university assignments and stuff like that. I'm going to be done at the end of next week so I can start really getting into the fish and doing a lot of breeding and making tons and tons of videos for you guys to watch. But I'm here today and I've moved all the fish in. So today I'm going to be giving you a fish room tour. Now there is a ton of species. This is probably going to be a very, very long video. There's lots of stuff I haven't shown you guys, and pretty much I'm going to show you every single tank today. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video to get all of the information and see all of the fish. And I guess without any further ado, let's get started. And so here is the rack I'm going to be showing you guys today. So this is 45 tanks. Some of them aren't full, some of them haven't been filled yet, but most of them are full, and this is basically all my breeding stock. But I guess we'll go and start at the end over here. So we'll start off over in this tank in the corner, and in this tank I have my colony of gold laser Corydoras. Now these guys are an awesome fish. I really do like them. They tend to be a little bit skittish, and I don't know if that's just because they haven't really gotten to know me yet, but they're in this tank, and as you guys can see, they're a stunning fish. I've got 7 of these guys. I've had 1 loss, and I'm not too sure why I had that loss, but the rest of these 7 are doing really well. They're all up in the back corner hiding from me, and every time I come into the room, you can see they kind of pause and stop, and then I'm sure they go back to being normal fish after that. But they're an absolutely phenomenal fish, and I can't wait to start breeding these guys in the near future and supplying them around Australia on my website. So I've got one coming up to the front. They're a really cool looking fish. And then we'll move up to a tank that you guys are all pretty familiar with if you've been around the channel for a while. And this is my double red Apistogramma Cacatuoides Diesel. So his female's actually in that cave. I think they're about to start breeding because I've been putting a ton of RO water in here and a ton of live blackworms and trying to get this aquarium going and get them breeding. And he is an absolutely phenomenal fish. So I don't know how many more spawns he's got left in him. You can see the females in the cave waiting for him to start doing his thing, but apparently Apistogramma males don't last very long fertility wise, so I don't know how much longer we've got with him until he's, you know, no longer producing any more fry. But she's been going really well. She's been having batches of about 100 eggs each time, and I haven't really had the chance to rear up many of those eggs, but I've reared up a couple batches which you guys will see during this video. And then we'll move up to this tank. Now this tank's going to be pretty hard to see what's in here, but these are my black marble angelfish. So I just picked these guys up, and these are basically to diversify which angelfish I'm producing, because at the moment I was only producing some koi angelfish, and now we have a bunch of different types, and these are one of the types. So they're a bit hard to pick up on camera because they're literally so dark, but I can see them really well in person. But they're a beautiful fish. The camera's not doing them any justice. They are still very timid because I've only recently got them, so they're all up the back of the aquarium. But I got 5 of these guys, and they're just growing out and pairing off until I get a breeding pair, and then hopefully I'll be pumping a ton of these guys out. And then we'll come over to this tank, and this is one of my favorite fish at the moment. This is the Longnose Whiptail catfish. So these guys are kind of like a bristlenose, except they're a bit long, and you guys can see there's one right there. There's a couple hiding underneath the driftwood, and there's one in this back corner as well. These guys are such a cool fish. I've never done whiptails before, and these are my first whiptails, so I picked up 5 of these guys to grow out and start breeding. And they are basically a herbivoral fish from what I can understand. They've been eating tons of green beans and algae wafers, and basically what you see right now is what they do all day. Now they look like little sharks. They're really cool looking. Not the most personable fish, but one of the coolest looking fish that I've seen. And they're a really freaky looking fish too. You can see this guy right in the middle of the camera, how he looks. It's such a cool fish. I'm really enjoying keeping these guys at the moment. They do like high flow, so I've got the tank going really hard with that mat and filter up the back, but these guys are so cool. And then we'll come down to this tank, and this is my orange flash Cacatuoides tank. So there's a male there and there's a female there. There's actually 3 females in this tank and 1 male. But there's my orange flash male. Now I originally bought these guys to sell on my website, but I picked them up and I thought they looked too good, so I decided to keep them, and now I'm trying to breed them. So I've actually seen a female in this cave getting ready to spawn, and she hasn't been able, you can see there's another female there. She hasn't been able to entice them enough to start breeding, but I'm sure that these guys will start breeding very soon, and I'm trying to do all the same strategies that I did with the double reds. These guys, along with the double red Cacatuoides, are just amazing. So these guys are a Cacatuoides as well. They're the orange flash Cacatuoides, and yeah, they look great. You can see Diesel here, he's showing off to them because I haven't put up the barricade, so they've been going off at each other. So I'll put the barricade up soon, and then hopefully both of them will start to spawn. But You can see right there, he's showing off. They're such a cool fish. And then we can come on down to one of the most colourful tanks in this room, and this is the neon tetra tank with some orange Venezuelan cories, which you guys will not be able to see very well because of how dark this tank is. It's full of tannins, it's a black water tank, and the orange flash aren't that vivid, but these guys are super, super pretty. So these are all the ones I bred. This is the original breeding stock, plus a few that I kept. And you guys will see up the back there, right in the middle of the screen, there's one actually with a bit of neon tetra disease. So I'll have to remove that fish and probably euthanize it just to make sure that that doesn't spread to any of the other fish. But it just goes to show you that it's super, super common with neon tetras, and even I get it. So I'm never trying to hide anything from you guys. I'm always honest, and I make tons of mistakes, and I have all these bad things happen to me as well. So it's not just you guys, but another really beautiful tank. Hopefully I'll start producing a ton of neon tetras when I get around to it, because they're one of my favorite fish to breed, and I've had a lot of fun trying to breed these fish in the past. And then we'll move on to another Corydoras tank, and this is my Similis tank. So these are my Corydoras Similis, another cool fish. The camera's going to have a really hard time picking these guys up, but these are really, really skittish cories. They're not personable at all. You can see there's one hiding underneath there. But the cool thing about these guys is they have that violet kind of smudge on the back of them, and they can be called the smudge cory, but mine are still growing up and developing that smudge. And it's going to take a bit of time before they start to look really beautiful, but I might add a couple of dither fish in here to try and get these guys to come out a bit more often, because they're just hiding all the time. And you know, I like to see my fish, and that's part of the fun of it. So when they're hiding all the time, it's not too fun to keep them, but these guys are an absolutely phenomenal fish. Super, super beautiful. Not the best personality. They seem to be very skittish for me, but let me know in the comments below if you have these guys, what they're like for you. And then we'll come up to this angelfish grow out tank. So these are my red Devil Angelfish. Now these guys are still very, very small, and they're not that red yet. They kind of just look like kois. So I'm not too sure how they're going to turn out over time. They're meant to be a very, very red angelfish, but they do look different to the cories right now. They're kind of growing up a bit different, so only time will tell. I mean, I'm colorblind, so I can't see red the best, but from what I can see, they're not a koi. They're kind of getting red, but we'll see what happens over time. Hopefully we get a couple of pairs of these guys and start pumping these out as well to sell on the website. But really, really, really cool fish. I absolutely love angelfish. Definitely one of my favorite freshwater fish. Up here we just have some blue star endlers that I've been breeding. These guys were just in here as my test fish, and I haven't taken them out yet, but we've got a Bristlenose in here, and he's already on eggs. So it's only been a couple of days in this room and he's already on eggs, so super happy with that. And then we'll move on over to this tank, and you guys will not know that I have these fish, but these are the L333 Plecos. Now these guys are one that I've been wanting to get for a while, and I haven't seen them around, and I've just picked them up. So I picked up 6 of these guys, and I'm growing them out, and it's going to take a couple of years before these guys start to breed, but they're just in here at the moment by themselves. Really, really high flow. As you guys should know, Plecos absolutely love really oxygenated, high flowing water, so these guys are doing really well in here. These are more of an omnivorous fish, and I'm sorry that you guys can't see them because they hide so well, but there's one underneath that piece of driftwood, and there's a couple in that cave. You guys can kind of see the silhouettes of them. Really, really cool fish. I can't wait to show you guys more of these in the future. And here we've just got a couple of koi grow outs. These are just from some of my previous batches. I picked out the nicest looking ones, and these are basically my future breeding stock, so you guys can see how beautiful they are. I mean, it's really, really dark right now. You guys can see how much orange there is on them, and the reason they come up here is because the matin filter pushes all the plants to the front, and they think I'm going to give them food. So some really beautiful oranges on these fish. I'm trying to iron out the white and try and keep it as orange and black as possible, but we're nearly at the age where we're going to start seeing them pair off. They're super, super cool. And then another cool species that I've recently picked up to breed is the Longfin Panda Corydoras. Now you guys can see right there, they're doing an awesome swim around for you guys. These guys have been pretty personable, haven't been hiding too much, but they look so cool, don't they? There's 8 of these guys in this aquarium, or I think maybe there's 9, so I'm growing them up into breeding age. It might take a bit of time, but super cool fish. I haven't seen these guys around, and they're not too common, so hopefully we can get a ton of these guys out for you so you guys can start to keep them in your aquariums, because they look so cool. Really, really personable. I think kids will absolutely love them because they've got that huge long fin, which a lot of cories actually don't have, or do have, but they're not readily available. So it'd be nice to make some of these guys more readily available. And then we'll move over to this tank, and this is my L397 Tiger Pleco tank. So these guys, super cool. These guys are a pinaculus, so they eat wood, so there's tons of driftwood in this aquarium. I've got the torch on at the moment to show you guys, but these guys are getting pretty big, and they're nearly kind of at that spawning age, maybe a couple months away from spawning, but I've got 10 of these guys in here. They love eating tons of veg matter, and they graze on this wood that you guys can see in the aquarium all the time, so they're always rasping on the wood. They're a super cool fish. They look really, really good as babies and juveniles, but as they get older, they start to lose a bit of that luster, and they start to look a bit more, dull and not as cool. But that's also when they start to make more babies for you to look at. So pretty keen to get these guys to start to breed, and I don't think these guys are too far away. They're actually quite big now, so super cool fish. Really, really like these guys. And then we'll move on down to this aquarium, and this is my Altum Angelfish aquarium. There's also a pair of Bristlenose Plecos in here, but they're not that cool. But these guys are my two Altum Angelfish. Now, if you guys have been around on the channel for a while, you know that I picked up 8 of these guys. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I did have a bit of an accident with these guys. I added a medication to an aquarium. As I was building this fish room, I wasn't able to monitor the aquarium at home. I had a crash while I was away, and it's just a huge ammonia spike, and I lost all the other 6 of my Altum Angelfish, and these were the 2 that survived. So I don't know whether we've got a male and a female here. It looks like they're both either, I think, females, but only time will tell. But I will be getting a few more of these guys when I get my hands on them. But yeah, super disappointing, but these guys are a really cool fish. They've been a bit timid in this fish room because they haven't really settled in too well, but we have no health problems. They've been eating fine and all that kind of stuff. They've just been very timid when I've been around. So hopefully these guys ease up a bit and settle into the fish room a bit better. And then moving on down to this aquarium, we have 8 beautiful Trilineatus Corydoras. Now, I can't ever say that right. I'm pretty hopeless with that name, but these guys are like the false Julii. They were sold as Juliis, but 90% of the time they're not Juliis, and these guys are definitely not Juliis, but super personable. They're almost at breeding size, so I'm really trying to get them fattened up and fill them up with food and try and get them to breed soon. But you guys can see, super cool, not as timid as some of the other Corydoras that I have in this room. You can see they're playing around a lot. They love the high flow in this aquarium, and they're a super cool fish. I just really like these guys. They kind of look like a Leopard Corydoras, but these guys are not a Leopard Corydoras, they're Trilineatus, so I'm going to stop trying to say that. I don't know how to say that. They might even be breeding right now. I think they're literally breeding right now. So yeah, these guys are actually breeding right now. Up the back, there's a few dots on that matin filter, so you guys can see one there. Those are eggs, so they're already breeding, which is absolutely phenomenal. I didn't even know these guys were breeding. I just saw, there you go, look at this. You guys are experiencing this at the same time as me. I've never seen these guys spawn before. This is really, really cool. The light's not helping them out too much, but see if she comes up and deposits those eggs. Yeah, see those eggs underneath her back fins? Wow. Alright, well, moving on. And then we'll come up to this aquarium, and this is one of my favorite fish. These are the L333 Leopard Plecos. I've got 8 in this aquarium. These are my main colony. They're getting pretty big, but they hide quite a bit. So I'd say these guys are about 4 to 5 centimeters now. I'm probably being a bit generous there, but a really, really cool fish. I mean, I say that with every fish that's in my room, otherwise I wouldn't keep it, but I really like these guys. There's not a lot of fish that look like a leopard and like a frog at the same time, which is, I don't know, it kind of sounds cringe to say that, but they're a super cool fish. You know, spend most of the day hiding, but when these guys get big, they're going to look really, really phenomenal. And then in this aquarium, we have my breeding pair of Peppermint Bristlenose. So I just picked these guys up off another breeder, and they haven't bred for me yet, but I've been filling up the female with a ton of protein and giving them tons of RO water, and the male's been in the cave, so hopefully he can entice her to go into the cave and start breeding. But they're a really, really cool looking fish. I've kept Peppermints once before, but this is my first breeding pair, and the reason I got a breeding pair was the price was pretty decent, and these guys take really, really long time, even longer than some of the other plecos I keep, to start spawning and breeding. So just kind of wanted to get a head start on that, and yeah, they're just a really, really cool looking fish. And here we have some Panda Corydoras. You guys know what Panda Corydoras are. The idea with these guys was to try and diversify which Corydoras I was breeding and keeping, and these guys are a cool Corydoras, super common, they're like your albinos, but yeah, I've got a tank of quite a few of these guys growing up, and hopefully they're going to start breeding like the Trilineatus did. And then this is my colony of 6 L201 Snowball Plecos. These guys are also the Orinoco Angel Pleco, but like I've been saying this whole video, they hide tons. Here's what they look like. They're a super, super cool high pan cistrus. These guys like to eat tons of protein. They can be relatively pricey where I'm from because they have very small clutches and they don't get that big, but I'm really in love with this fish. These were my first L333 Plecos that I actually picked up, so super cool. They've been taking a bit to grow, but they are getting a little bit bigger, but hopefully now that they're in an aquarium by themselves, they're going to start to grow like crazy. In this aquarium, we have a nightmare amount of adult bristlenose. These guys are just waiting to be bred up in their thousands, but there's a ton of beans in here, and that's why there's such a big mess. And in this bottom aquarium, we have my colony of black Venezuelan Corys. So these guys are absolutely, like, okay, I've been saying that so much, but these guys are super good. I really like this Corydorid. I love the black because I'm colorblind, so I can't see much of the color. And just having one color on a fish makes it really easy to see them. So kind of a weird reason to have a black fish, but these guys, personable, they come out quite a bit, they're never hiding, and they're really fun to actually watch eat. They're really, like, I don't know, personable eaters. They just like chow down on black worms, and it's super funny to watch. So I really like these guys a lot. And then in the aquarium next to it, we have a ton of these Albino Corydoras, which surprisingly haven't started breeding yet. I haven't even bred these guys yet before. So maybe they've been breeding, but they've been eating their eggs, or you can see how fat some of those females are. So maybe they're just about to have like huge spawn, but I need to get these guys going because, yeah, they need to start making some babies for me. I haven't been getting any eggs from these guys, so we'd like to get that happening soon. But you can see just how big they are. Like, it's ridiculous they're not spawning yet, so maybe I'll chuck a bit of cold water in here after and they'll just start going for me. And then we have another colony of these beautiful Praecox rainbows. I'm going to breed up these guys in their hundreds. This is one of my colonies. I have 2 colonies, so I'll be doing this colony, probably breaking this one up in half and mixing it with my other one and having 3 tanks going. And then hopefully I'll get a ton of like eggs and fry going from these guys because there's actually not that many available in my area at the moment. So hopefully I can get a few more of these guys out. But they're a beautiful fish too. They have that beautiful color. One of the more common rainbow fish that I see around, I would like to get some Bozemanis, but these guys will do for now. Sorry for the bad footage, but I'm trying to find a video of these guys. These are my L333 chocolate zebra plecos, but they're not going to come out. So I'll just let you guys know that I do have them. Yeah, they hide quite well, so I can't really get to see them yet, but you guys will see these in upcoming videos for sure. And then this is my electric blue ram, I don't know, pair off tank. I bought 5 of these guys and I'm waiting for them to pair off, and you guys can see there's a pair in the middle there, so hopefully they start spawning. I've been pouring a ton of RO water in here to get these guys to go, giving them tons of black worms, but there's 5 of them, so these guys have been fending off this area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let these guys pair off. I'll take the pairs out, and then I'll leave whatever's in here to pair off again. So hopefully I'll take these guys out, they'll breed for me, and they'll be a breeding pair, and I'll get a second one, and then they'll be sweet. So yeah, hopefully these guys start to spawn for me, but they've been fending off that area, and I think they're going to start to spawn on that little piece of driftwood there soon. So hopefully that happens for me. And then in here we just have a couple of leftovers. There's just a pair of Apistogrammas that I'm growing out for future breeding in case they turn out to be good. Otherwise, I'll be getting sold. So you can see little male here, female up the back, and a couple of spare angelfish from when I was getting my koi angelfish breeding pair. So these guys were the ones that didn't pair off because there's 2 females. So I'm just keeping these guys. I'm kind of attached to them, and we've got a stray zebra Danio there from when I was breeding them ages back. And then down here we have some platinum rams. So I haven't seen these guys ever. I picked these guys up actually yesterday, and they've settled in really well. We've got one underneath that driftwood there that's a bit shy, but we've got these other 3, so hopefully they start to pair off and breed for me. I mean, that's the goal with everything in this room, is to try and get it to breed, but yeah, these guys are really cool looking. They're very similar to an electric blue ram, but obviously they're platinum instead of being blue. And another fish that's going to be hard to pick up is these black angels here. So these guys are literally just black. They're jet black. Need to get a pair of these guys going as well because I want to make a ton of different types of angelfish for you to choose from, but these guys are super cool. I mean, that matte filter is really not doing them any justice. They're a very cool fish. They're like a jet black, and they look really matte. They're not like that iridescent kind of black. They're very just like jet black. Really cool. And in here we've got some stray gold rams from when I bought my black rams. These guys came with them. These are both males, so they're not going to be breeding for me, but you can see there's one there too. So maybe I need to get some females for these guys to start breeding. Down here we have a breeding pair of koi angels. These guys haven't made any eggs yet, but I'm hoping that very soon they'll start to breed. These guys made a ton, I mean like an absolutely awesome amount of these guys at the start of this year for me, and I sold all of them. And hopefully they get going again because I need to start making some more of them to sell to you guys. Up here we've got some more assorted just random rams that I picked up from when I got my black rams because If you guys want to actually see that video, I'll link it up in the top right hand corner, but there's a whole story to how I got these guys, but yeah, they're just in here at the moment, kind of like quarantining. I've been worming them because you guys can see the back, there's a very skinny one, but the rest of them have been doing all right. Yeah, and here we have a grow out tank full of Apistogramma. I mean, there's just probably 90 Apistogramma in here, so you guys need to help me get rid of these guys when they become available. They've got a bit of growing up to do, but you can see right there, I mean, he's got a massive poo. There's no internal parasites in this tank. They've just been eating a ton of Cyclops, and it makes them do these really weird poos. So, really, really cool fish, actually. I've bred quite a few hundred of these guys at this point, and I'd like it if these guys came out so I could show you them, but this is my pair of Black Knight Rams. So I've actually put them back together, and they've been kind of getting along a bit better now. So it's looking like they're going to start breeding again. I really need them to, because I only had 4 of the fry that I had originally survived, because I was literally in the middle of moving to my new facility. I didn't have any Infusoria ready, so I only had 4 of them survive, and they're up in a breeding box in this room, but hopefully these guys go again so I can get quite a few hundred of these guys, because I've got a few Infusoria kits going, so when these guys do have babies, I can actually feed them properly. But hopefully these guys breed again so I can get some beautiful black rams going. And then down here we just have a second pair of koi angelfish. These guys are my breeding pair. These are the second breeding pair that I have, so I actually got 2 from the original 6 that I bought, which is really, really good. And here we've got another group of Praecox rainbows. This is the other group I was talking about before, and these guys I'm sure have been spawning in that spawning mock, so that'll be coming out within this week so I can start to get a few of these fry going. But I'll be splitting up this colony and combining with the other one to make 3 colonies. You guys aren't going to see this fish very well, but these are some Danio Chopraes. So these guys are a Glowlight Danio. I haven't actually seen these guys in Australia before, so I was super lucky to get my hands on these. But I'm putting them in here so they breed in the morning, so hopefully the lights go out. There's some really fat females in there. I mean, the camera's not doing them any justice because it's so dark in here, but hopefully they start breeding, and I can get a ton of these guys out as well. These guys don't have massive batches of eggs, I'm pretty sure, and normally they are breeding colonies of like 20, but I only have 5 of these guys, so hopefully that doesn't make too much of a difference. I mean, the reason I didn't get 20 is because they cost 20 bucks a piece here, so I wasn't willing to drop a bomb on these guys. But yeah, hopefully we get some fry out of them. And the final tank is this one. These are my adult group of Sterbai Corydoras, and hopefully these guys are actually breeding right now. I don't know whether they are. I don't think they are. I think they're just going a bit crazy, but they're a super cool fish. They're a super common Cory as well. I've seen them around quite a bit, and the idea is to get a ton of these guys breeding very, very soon. But yeah, that's the fish room. I'm kind of done talking right now. I mean, this place is still a mess. There's tons of work left to do. I'll go turn on the light. Still a lot of work left to do to make this place look the way I want it to. I mean, you can see it's just junk everywhere. So thanks for bearing with me while I make all these update videos, and there's the Glowlight Danios. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.